The latest evidence that we're becoming a very dumb and cowardly people is that we allow men who say that they are women to beat the hell out of women. And we call it sport and pretend like it's fair. And we even broadcast the beatings so the public can cheer it on, so we can virtue signal and feel better about ourselves. So a man named Elena McLaughlin, who believes that he is a woman, defeated his opponent, Celine Provost, a biological woman. She's a woman. I'm not even going to say biological. In the second round of the Combat Global Preliminaries. Now, McLaughlin transitioned into a male after leaving U.S. Army Special Forces in 2010. Elena McLaughlin is only the second openly trans fighter after Phelan Fox to fight MMA in the U.S. Now, obviously, the victory sparked some controversy online. Why is this? Because Elena McLaughlin was a dude for 33 years before transitioning. And by the way, I use the pronouns that I use because I'm a woman and I do not allow the patriarchy to control my speech. Here's what he looked like in pictures back in 2010 when he was called Ryan. Yeah, that seems fair. Now, Elena McLaughlin has been training for more than a year in preparation for the bout, according to an outlet. McLaughlin cleared a hormone panel. Sidebar to this. I don't care what Florida State Boxing Commission wants to do. You can sit here and do testosterone repressive stuff. That does not change your bone density, your gait, your broad shoulders, your muscle mass, etc., etc., etc. Stop. We follow the science. No, the Florida State Boxing Commission, they said that passed the hormone panel, but that it was a nightmare finding an opponent for the fight. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because no woman wants to be beaten silly in a fake competition by a guy who's cheating to win. And that's right, he's cheating. Because if a woman walked into the ring with the same level of hormones that he did, she would be disqualified for performance-enhancing drugs. Women have fought for the right to compete in sports for decades. And now, after women have managed to carve out a real space for ourselves, and now men, the patriarchy, the actual patriarchy, wants to take this away. It is amazing how much of the left's words are projections. Trans people talk all the time, people who identify as a different gender. I identify as vaccinated. Having their existence erased when people don't, they say that they don't want their existence erased when people don't acknowledge them as women or men. I'll call you whatever name you want, but you're not going to appropriate my gender, right? And I am not going to be forced by a patriarchal society to modify my speech or pronouns to accommodate your fantasy. And if that displeases you, then grow up, because there are a lot of things that displease me. For instance, some of the jeans that are coming back in style in this 90s era. But here we are as a society erasing biological women. Biological men, regardless of how much hormones they take or how many hormones they take or how much they believe that they are women. Again, bone mass, other anatomical advantages. You are not fairly competing in particularly combat sport or any sport. It's not a fair competition against biological women. How is it that feminists, and a lot of second wave does understand this, third wave, no. Third wave, they are silent on this. And a lot of second wave actually too. I'm not even sure why this is allowed. I said up front that there's something wrong with a culture who isn't wise enough or brave enough to speak up for its daughters or its ladies. Like, where's the chivalry? This all started with the lie that there's no biological difference between men and women. I feel like this is a Gaylord Fokker conversation from Meet the Parents. Well, I have nipples, Greg, can you milk me? We let that lie persist, and here we are. Well, of course, there are differences. Follow the science. The left is always telling us this. We're trying. I mean, do we have to bloody our women at the hands of dudes to see the truth? It's amazing how so-called progressives continue to take us backwards, re-racializing America, bringing back segregation with vax passports like in New York, erasing women's rights like the right to fair competition against other women and men competing against men. If this continues, it is. It's going to be the end of women's sports. And women won't be able to create their own leagues because they'll be called bigots if men don't get to play. And then when biological men who believe that they are women are winning all the competitions in every sport, then we'll know the truth. There always was and always will be biological differences between men and women. They matter, they're real, and they have consequences. And as a society, we must, if we care about our women, be willing to say so. Enough is enough.